Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Between the Notes. You can already tell just by what it looks like and who I'm with that this is a special episode. I teased you last week talking about that this episode was going to be composing for the violin. Now, we're not going to have some kind of college lecture about this topic. We're going to talk to my good friend, Jenny Oakes Baker, who
I play violin.
She does play violin very well, and really, I don't think I wrote for solo violin before you.
Really?
I had not thought of that.
You may have done Stradivarius, or did you do that after?
That was in 1997.
So it was around the same time as Stradivarius.
All right, so Jenny and I have collaborated. You know the numbers more than I do. We have collaborated on how many CDs? How many albums?
Well, how many albums? Like 16.
16 albums, and you said over 100 songs?
Over 100 arrangements.
That makes me tired. No, man, that's awesome. So I don't think I really wrote for a violinist. Now, I wrote Stradivarius, which is on my Sketches album. And I wrote it, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I wrote a nice little piece that violinists could play. But writing for violin, and those of you that are composers know, it is one of the more strenuous things.
Excuse me, we're outside.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we are outside. Jenny and I, we don't live that far apart.
Excuse me.
Bless you. We are 6 feet apart. And it is COVID time right now, so I believe this is about 6 feet apart.
Sneezes are okay, but coughs. At least it's a sneeze, not a cough, right? Okay,
right.
Sorry. Oh, that's right.
Oh, a bonus sneeze. Anyway, we're leaving this in because Jenny and I, we are very good friends, and just the amount of work that we've done not only means that I've done that many arrangements and you've played that many tunes, but it also means that we've spent countless hours in the studio, which is fun, but also kind of painful.
It's so stressful.
Kind of painful.
It's so stressful.
I know. Look, we have a dog here. Tell me why you think it's stressful. Recording is stressful for you.
I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get stressed before a concert, but a concert is kind of like water under the bridge.
Right.
So it comes and it goes, and like as long as you get the opening, the climax, and the last note. And you look good doing it, and your hair is good. Yeah. Then everything else, is okay. But recording is forever, and I'm gonna listen to it again, and people are gonna listen to it, and so just that pressure of making it perfect. And you don't love perfection, but I do.
Well, I love now this is an interesting discussion, and it has to do with recording for any of you guys that are singers, instrumentalists, piano players, whatever, composers. Jenny and I wouldn't say we have a difference of opinion. We have a different slant on what perfection is.
Right.
So I'm going to explain first what you think perfection is. Then I want you to explain what I think perfection is. So I am now going to tell you what Jenny thinks. You tell her. Jenny, because she is an exhausting practicer. She's gone to, best schools in the world for violin. She's learned the technique. She's put time and time in. She's driven herself to learn the perfection. When I talk about perfection that way, I'm talking about making sure every note is just right, the vibrato's just right, the phrasing's just right, there's no frogs in all that wolves in the strings. Everything is perfectly technically right. And that she captures the feelings, but you're worried about that, but you do it from a technical standpoint. That's what perfection is to you, right?
Well, I mean, I want the emotion there, but I want the perfection.
Right, so now you tell...
Just as much as the emotion.
You tell everybody what you think I think perfection is.
Kurt just wants the perfect feeling.
Pretty much.
Which is great. I mean, I want that too, but he's not going to worry as much about something that makes it a little more human.
Yeah, because for me, humans have warts, they have blemishes, they have...
that's what makeup's for.
They have gray hair, they have all the above. So for me, but you know what I'm going to say? Your perfection mixed with my perfection makes for what we call the Bestor Baker formula. It is, well, now honestly though, I think it's almost like you're too young to remember Gracie and George and Gracie. George Burns and Gracie, his wife.
Well, I've heard of George Burns.
Well, what they would do this, he was kind of the straight, or he'd do the jokes and she was kind of the straight person, and they were kind of opposites, but somehow their chemistry worked perfectly together. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call us opposites. I think we're a lot more alike than we think. But this perfection discussion definitely is something that happens just about every time we record. Yeah. She is so microscopic in her analyzation of her violin, and I'm just saying, oh, forget that.
We got the feeling. We got it. We got it, Jody. We got it.
So well,
you're also worried about like the
budget.
The budget.
Yes, there is. Perfection.
There's that one thing that costs a lot of money.
Costs a little bit. Well, look. So we started. Do you remember exactly when we started working together?
It was my first album, which was like I think a year before I got married, and I got married in 1998. So it was like 1997.
Yeah. 1997, so it was about the same time I did my Stradivarius piece, but and I think I did I do one song for you on that album?
I know you did Pour Away From Me, Man of Grief.
I did a couple, I think.
You may have done one more.
Anyway, in those days, you were working for Deseret Book, still work for Deseret Book, but they would usually assign a cadre of composers and arrangers.
Well, I mean, I went into, Kenny Hodges was producing it,
right.
And I went in and I'd worked with you a little bit, like in an orchestra when I was younger, and so I knew you and Sam Cardin and
Tyler Castleton,
and
Lex Diazevedo, I think, did some.
Yeah, and
anyway, a group of composers that are kind of known.
All the best composers at the time
in our area, yeah.
And Crawford Gates, Robert Kundick.
Yeah.
And so Kurt had, I think, 2 songs, and everyone else had 1 or 2, and then the second album you had 2 songs, and then my third album I think I gave you like 4 or 5 songs, and then my like 5th album is like Kurt gets the whole thing.
Well, and I appreciate that. I know I do. I mean, I've told
and then
you.
Every album is so.
And I don't expect to be all do everything, because there are lots of good arrangers out there. And if someone said, "Hey Jenny, I got this whatever," you should do it. But I do love when we do have a project, like our last project, Epic, that we just finished before Christmas. It was released in the spring, but it's an example of kind of how we work together. So let's talk about that for a minute. So even though these days people listen to Spotify, they listen to one song. We still like to conceptualize an album based on some kind of theme.
Well, you're good at that. Like, I just hand it over to Kurt because I know that he knows what he's doing, and you have a great sense for, we have this song that's really big and exciting, and then we need this intimate moment, and then we need this moment that's really warm and loving, and like you are really amazing at putting together an album. So I just kind of let you do that because you're so amazing.
So I lead out, but you definitely opine about it. I mean, you have an opinion about maybe the concept obliquely, but then the songs definitely. You definitely have an opinion about the songs that speak to you, either based on a movie and this album we did is called Epic because we chose songs that were epic in sound, epic in feeling, epic in meaning, epic in story, spirituality, the whole thing. Everything comes at you with a very rich, deep thought. That doesn't mean that they're all bombastic. Like we did a thing from Star Wars, but and we did a Harry Potter piece.
We had Bring Him Home that just melts your heart.
Yeah, so Bring Him Home isn't bombastic, but it's epic in its feeling.
And like the Bach, no, it's not Bach. It's the Mighty Fortress Is Our God is epic in a luxuriously, beautifully loving way.
Well, I hope you'll check it out. We'll attach a link to this episode to give you a place where you can listen to all the tunes, maybe Spotify, or you can actually buy a CD, which sounds better, by the way, than Spotify. CDs do, although most cars now don't have CD players. But let's talk about, just real quick before we run out of time, let's talk about just the collaboration. And I don't mean that I don't want to talk about the technical side of it, me writing and knowing what notes to write and so forth, although we can talk about that. But I think more importantly, there's a trust level that I have to have and she has to have in collaborating, because you're trusting me to capture your soul, your essence, because that's really what it is. Violin is an instrument, but you're speaking through it. You have to trust that I'm going to get you, and I have to trust that you're going to, that you're going to treat my notes nice, and there's just a real trust that is not easy to come by. I don't even know what to say other than that's kind of, for me, what makes this special, because we do have a trust.
Well, I just know that any music that you send to me, and I used to get it, hard copy, dropped off at my house, or mailed, or faxed, which is terrible.
Yeah, so last century.
Anyway, but now it comes in my inbox, and I print it off, and but I know it's going to be greatness. I know it's going to be a masterpiece. I know it's going to be emotional. I know it's going to go somewhere. I can't stand music. Kurt never writes music like this, but some people do, where it just kind of meanders along and does nothing and then ends. And you only know that it's ended because it stops. You don't know that it's ended because it's taken you on a journey. But Kurt's music takes you on an emotional journey, and you go somewhere great and wonderful, and you emotionally get to explode with joy, or explode with pain, or explode with just feeling, and then he resolves it so you feel happy about in such a beautiful way. And I know it's going to do that, and my job is just to practice it enough to find that feeling and take it to the heights that it was written to be taken.
But and I'm going to say that now. Thank you, by the way. I'm going to wax eloquent a bit. And isn't it nice to have the birds, by the way, in the background? I'm sitting here and digging this backyard. But the thing that's great about a collaboration and collaborating with Jenny is that I write notes, I write feelings. Those notes represent feelings. The dynamics, the hairpins, all the bowings that I kind of put in to start, they kind of represent a feeling, but it's only about maybe 75% there. Then, we kind of go back and forth. We work out a few things. Maybe we stretch this run out, or we maybe go up to a higher note here or a lower note here. The tempos, we stretch a bit. That's part of the working part of the collaboration. But what was really great for me, and this happens so rarely, it really does. There's very few people that I work with, singers, whoever, orchestras, soloists, violinists, that take my music to a higher place than I thought. And that's the great thing about you, Jenny, is that because of all your work, all your finger work and everything, there's not a lot that slows you down. So you can take my notes, you get it, either intellectually or you just intuitively get it. And then when you play, you take it to a higher level, and it really, I'm always kind of blown away that, wow, that came out of my head, but that's so much more than I thought.
Well, I think it's a spiritual component.
Well, and I would agree with you on that. I mean, we talk about the spiritual side of things, and that's for a longer discussion, but I mean, music is more than notes on a page. Music is more than your technique and my ability to write. Music is this communication that is higher and deeper than just words. And however one paints that, whether it's religiously or just understanding things on a spiritual level, I don't really understand music sometimes. I don't understand that. I can't really, there's some things I just don't really.
You can't just say, I'm going to put the spirit right here.
No. It happens because of the trust, because of the love and mutual admiration we have for each other. And then what you hear.
And I think it comes because you have a gift from God. And He has blessed you with incredible gifts, and you access that. And I try to access that. And you're also in praise of all things beautiful. And,
I do
and the
like
spirit,
that.
and you write beautiful things that everything comes together, and that spirit, I think, takes it to the next level.
Well, this is kind of the good segue into the song that I'm going to play. She doesn't even know which one I'm going to do, but we're not going to do it here sitting on the
because I haven't practiced.
No, we're not going to do it in the backyard. Plus, there's no piano, I want to play. It's a song that I arranged for 3 albums back. Nearer My God to Thee.
Oh, it's for Awakening.
Yeah, there was an album we did called Awakening, which it pretty much is like what the word says. We won't get too much into what the album's about, but the song is a well-known hymn. It's a hymn that is known in several faiths. Here in Utah, the Mormon Church, the LDS Church, has it in their hymnal. Other churches have it. It's been done about 4 different ways in 4 different faiths over the millennia or over the years. But our version is Near My God to Thee. It is a beautiful song that I've always loved. But what I tried to do on this song is, and I told this to Jenny, I won't get too personal with it, but I wanted to do exactly as the name suggests, to have her feel as if when she plays it, she is getting nearer to God. And I don't mean that in a throw it out there kind of way. I mean that there's actually a feeling that you're getting closer. Now, as you get close to deity, in lots of religions, the thought about it, people say it all the time, oh yeah, I felt close to God. But if you really in that moment are really, really there, I would imagine that it's not scary, but you got to feel a little bit of a tenuous feeling, but then you get this overwhelming feeling of warmth as you're welcomed into whatever place that is. So we're going to show the video of Jenny playing this. I absolutely love this video. Kudos to the guys that did it. It places you out, and we've got this beautiful place that's been used in tons of movies and videos, the Great Salt Lake. You're standing there in this exquisite dress. I'm sure it was a pain to get and do it and everything, but you stood out there and and you don't really even move except like a violin does, but you stand there. I love it. It's one of my favorite videos and one of my favorite arrangements for you. So you got to enjoy Near My God to Thee. I want to thank Jenny for spending a little time with me. This is my very first between the notes interview. Most of the time it's just me down in my basement, but she's such a good friend, and now you get to see how the collaboration worked. Enjoy, everybody. See you next time.